So I made my builder, and 10 days later, today is graft day. The top is going to be separated from the bottom, and she's going to rest. I'm going to graft into the top that remains after the bees have returned to their home site. So what happens with this builder is these frames have been up here of capped brood. They've been hatching, and the bottom has helped by populating and taking care of them. Right now, there should be nothing up top, no eggs, basically no larvae, and the bottom is going to be removed to this front pallet. Once that's done, some bees will be shook in from the mother hive, and then they will be left to rest. And they'll rest because then the bees from the mother hive will also come back to the original spot and populate the builder so that she has a huge population and yet is hopelessly queenless. And a hopelessly queenless hive will give you a great take on your grafts, given that you didn't squish anybody or flip anybody, and give you a good take and hopefully a full capping to take your queen cells. And at that point, it depends on your grafting. If your builder is big, now it's up to your graft, that you chose the right age, and that you didn't flip them or harm them in any way by grafting. All right, so what we have to do is have this is honey, and this is where the brood is, or the box that we're doing. Okay. Let's see if I can get the excluder off with it. Okay, now move this straight to this one here. Yeah, you're off. Good. Okay, now take this hive, take the whole thing, completely turn it around and set it on that pallet right there. Careful of the bottom and stuff. I don't know that it's propolis. I don't know that the bottom's propolis, so yeah, there you go. Watch your step. Turn it completely around. Good. And then put this one back in the original position. There's no cells or anything, so a bump here and there is fine. Okay. If you have a jug of syrup, go through over there and feed some of the smaller ones while I do this. Thank you. So now what I have to do, I went through after I had placed those frames of brood, I went through and made sure there was no queen cells. I did that in 4 days, and then earlier today I went ahead and did that. She's going to be fed. One of the things I do is I give them all their honey at the bottom, because they say, I've read somewhere, that honey on the bottom will simulate a flow. They are basically on a small flow. I've got the maple going and some other stuff. But I know I'm also in for rain, as usual. Queen rearing equals rain. So I want to make sure that they're well fed for any of the cells that I give them. Now, right now, I have to take out 2 frames. I take out 2 frames because one, I have to put in a frame that I'm going to fill with pollen, and the other slot for a frame will remain open, and that's where my grafting bar will go. The 2 frames that I take out, I can put into another hive and they'll take care of it, whatever is left on it. You also want to make sure you check for your eggs in case you just somehow snapped up a queen, which I also checked for. So that's 1, and then the second one will be in lieu of a bar. And now they'll be hopelessly queenless. Hopelessly queenless, kind of like a swarm. Okay. I'm going to open it up to the middle. I have a shaker box. This is a shaker box. It's got a queen excluder in the bottom. I'm going to take frames from the mother hive and shake a few frames in there, and that'll make sure that I get the nurse bees that are left behind on the mother hive. I won't completely decimate her, but she has a laying queen and she'll be fine. This is the mother colony, and this is the grafting colony, the builder. When I take and I shake through a queen excluder, just in case I missed the queen, or that there may have been building another queen for some reason, I can then see her. I won't shake her into that colony. There's nothing worse than shaking a queen into a colony that you think you're going to have the greatest builder. Turn around and all your grafts were for nothing. Just put it right over there. Do you want to look for the queen? Yes, you do. So you want to keep shaking a few more frames in, because the bigger your builder, the better your chances. A queen larva needs to be fed somewhere in the range of 1,600 times a day. So you want to give them the biggest ability to get those feedings in. Well, I think you can get away with less bees. Get your builder to be big. And the first builder of the year, like this one is for me, is not quite as big as in the next few weeks, because this is their first flush of bees. And if you do take frames from other hives to flush it out, make sure you do one hive at a time, because if you do find the queen, you want to put the queen back in to where she came from. The bees on the frame of brood are generally the nurse bees, the ones that hang on. If you were to shake from, say, a frame of honey, they're probably just going to fly back to the hive that they came from, because those are going to be the foragers or something else, the older bees. So try to take your younger nurse bees. The nurse bees will be flush, and you want to just get them to where you can. Have a great feed on them. So now I look again to make sure I didn't catch a queen somewhere. And then I'm going to shake them all the way in. Okay, I'm reasonably sure I did not catch the queen. I have a nice population in there. And now I will give them a frame of pollen. I can only fill one side of the pollen frame because pollen falls out. So because I want my pollen frame right here, I'm going to fill it. I have to back up here a little bit. My camera turned off. What I did was I catch pollen so that these queens are well nourished. The pollen frame will go right next door to where I'm going to put the graft. Come on now. and you want it facing the graft. There's all their pollen. That's going to ensure, well, help ensure that they have plenty of royal jelly. The high population of young nurse bees, a lot of pollen besides what they've already started gathering, a nice bit of honey on them, and then the syrup will keep them flush. I know I'm in for a few days of rain, so I'm not going to leave without refeeding, but that's part of the reason that I left honey at the bottom. Now they get to rest and build back that population, and they should be ready to go. They are hopelessly queenless. They are well fed. They have a high count of pollen, so that they should be ready to take that graft. The first ones are always a little bit light because it is just February 15th, but they usually do pretty well. So I grafted, and now the graft has to go into the builder, and hopefully it'll float down into a bunch of little bees. It's very, very, very dry, so you always want to keep your graft dry. It's not going to stay up. There we go. Not dry, but moist. They dry out very quickly. And even on my humid days, they can dry out very quickly. Nice. So you can see that there's bees hanging. This is what you want to see, so that they can just sink down in there and they're ready to just build for you. Like I said, the builders get bigger and bigger as you work. There we go. And so now I just have to sink. Very important that they stay moist. Very important that you don't bang them too much, because they're just sitting in there. So yes, the hive has some spots. They're not squished totally down. But at this time of year, when I can go down in temperature, it's more important that they all can fit in the hive and that they have their honey to consume. Every little bee counts. Okay, so that's the builder. And the mother hive is right behind it. And 4 days they'll be capped. and 7 days after that, they'll emerge. Happy beekeeping.